Hello and welcome back to the Landtech Link podcast. My name's Kevin Must, I'm your host, and I'm here to connect manufacturing professionals with industry experts. We have a really neat show for you guys today. I'll be speaking with Tance Hughes, the CEO of Southern Designs out of Vidalia, Louisiana. It's a very interesting story. Him and his family started this shop back when he was in high school as a screen printing service. He started to see an opportunity in the metal home decor arena, so decided to bring his brother Seth on, buy a machine, and start cutting. So we're going to talk to him about how he's leveraged new software and technologies to further enhance his shop's operations, in turn landing his company on the Inc. 5000 list for fastest growing privately held companies, and the Forbes 30 Under 30 list for himself. So very, very neat story. I'm going to go to a short break and then we'll dive into his interview. Stay tuned.
We were able to do more work with the same amount of people. We produced and shipped out way more than we did, the previous year. And so, at least production-wise, we at least pushed out 20-25% more product with basically the same number of people.
All right, so we'll go ahead and dive in here. We'll start off with your company background. How and when did Southern Designs come into business, and was this kind of your idea, to start the business up?
Yeah, so Southern Designs was actually started in 2008. I was actually a senior in high school, and I was coaching a Pee Wee football team, and with my friends. And my dad had purchased a small screen printing press, and we used that to print T-shirts for the parents and, siblings of the Pee Wee football players and things like that. And then we had other teams start asking us, hey, print T-shirts for us. And that's kind of how the business actually got started. And so we started doing that, and then ended up setting up a retail location and kind of grew from there.
Nice. That's awesome. How long did it take for, to get that retail location? Was that within the first year?
Yeah, that was probably within
nice.
3 to 4 months. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Especially being a senior in high school, that's great, man. So when did you guys make that shift then from the screen printing to the custom metal fabrication?
Yeah, so my brother wanted to get involved with the business in 2014. And he wanted to open up a fab shop, and we had just recently purchased a new, larger facility to work out of. And we had some extra space in the back. So we set him up, back there. And one of his machines was a CNC plasma cutter. And he and I are polar opposites. So, I'm sales and marketing, kind of big thinker guy. He's a fix it, kind of build it guy. He figures out how to build things and fix things and, make things work. And so I said, hey, cut out some decorative signs out of sheet metal for me on your plasma, and I'm going to sell them on the internet. And so that's kind of how we started doing that. And we were working kind of both businesses in conjunction, I guess you would say, together, two parts of the business together. And the custom signs and things started growing really quickly. We were having some success online selling them and everything, and decided that it was going to be a pretty successful venture for us. And then, and towards the end of 2015, we actually saw that this was going to be the way we were really going to make our money and be truly successful in our business. And we had a successful printing business, but, this was taking off a lot faster. And so at the end of 16, we completely exited the screen printing world. Or no, that was the end of 15. And so,
okay.
We spun that off completely and put all of our resources and time kind of behind the the metal signs, the decorative signs and things of that nature, and it just skyrocketed from there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's on the printing side, that's a lot of competition, just overall online. But to have that customized metal cutting, that's pretty awesome to be able to cut a monogram of your last name or letter of your last name and establish whatever year you were married and get that sign hanging up in your house. It's pretty awesome. So,
it's something that, people are looking for. Is they want something different, something unique. And, with the technology today, which of course we're going to dive more into, it's making it more and more accessible for people to be able to get things like this, as opposed to only mass produced items.
So currently, how many employees do you guys have working for you then?
We have about 32 right now.
Oh, wow.
And so kind of for reference, when we transitioned into this from screen printing, we had about 10.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
And then as far as your cutting machines, do you just operate that plasma, or I'd assume, hearing that growth and expansion that you guys have added a couple more machines in there as far as cutting machines go, correct?
Yeah, so actually we have 3 CNC plasma tables. We've got 2 CNC routers. We have a 4K fiber laser, and we actually have a 6K fiber laser on the way right now.
Wow, nice. That's some pretty good growth there.
Yeah, we're trying to also have some backup on all equipment. So kind of having that one fiber laser, if it goes down for whatever reason, you don't have a backup, for those specific cuts. So it's nice to have some redundancy there. And that's what we're looking forward to with having our next laser, is really having not only the increased capacity, but that if one goes down, we still can produce with the other one.
Yeah, definitely. You're not down and out for, a day or a couple hours, depending on how long it takes to get that up.
Right.
Nice. That's good to hear, man. That's great. Congratulations on that growth. And, hopefully that just keeps moving forward for you guys in the coming years. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, as you said, Southern Designs is family owned. Do you do much metal production and manufacture, or wood production and manufacturing, or are you guys pretty much exclusive to the metal side?
Wood is a small component of what we do. It has been growing, not nearly as quickly as the metal, which is more of our niche, but it is growing. I mean, it's a significant part of our business now. It's one where we have, we probably have a team of about 3-4 people kind of operating that section now. And so, it's become a good part of our business that we're hoping to continue to grow. But definitely bread and butter for us is metal.
Yeah, definitely. And last question here for the intro part, or a little company background. So as we kind of mentioned earlier, you guys were put on the Inc. 5000 list for fastest growing privately held companies in the U.S. How how they reach out to you, or how did you guys come about to become on that list? How did they find you guys?
Yeah, well, it's actually something you can apply for, so I was aware of it. And I read Inc. magazine. I read lots of business publications and things of that nature, and I'd seen that list before, and it was always something I said, wow, that would be really cool if we could ever get on that list. I didn't think it would actually happen. And when I saw the scale of growth that we had into 2016, I realized that we could apply and then definitely make that list once I saw the requirements. And so that's how that one came about. That was kind of me kind of reaching out and pushing that out there to them.
Cool. And then that Forbes 30 under 30, was that kind of the same thing as well?
No, actually, so we were at Walmart home office back in June of last year, and we were pitching our products, a different line of products that we manufacture, to them to sell into stores and online. And I met a reporter there from Forbes magazine, and we followed up after the event to talk about an article that she was writing. And she mentioned that she thought I should get involved with the Forbes 30 under 30, that she wanted me to apply for it. I don't know if you can publicly apply for that. I'm not sure, but she sent over a document that I filled out and sent back into them. And so that's actually how that one came about. I wasn't really, too aware of that that list before
Mm-hmm.
that.
Well, yeah, that's again, congratulations. That's amazing getting those two accolades under your belt. And in this year, 2018, and moving forward, it should just kind of grow from there, I would think.
Yeah.
So, with hearing that you guys do a lot of customized metal cutting, and obviously your volume is growing. From my understanding, you guys were kind of in need of a nesting software to help kind of speed your processes up and be able to take those orders from online, generate that CAD file, push it out to the CNC machine, and kind of reduce any wastes and maintain a high quality. Is that correct? Am I kind of stating that correct, or you kind of see what the issue that you guys were having and why you were looking toward a software for nesting?
Yeah, sure. So, we were definitely wanting to get the most use of the material that we had. We knew that we were wasting some space in there. And we needed something that would automate that process a little bit quicker for us. We were doing most of it manually at the time. And so we were getting ready to purchase that laser. We wanted the software, with it, and we wanted to kind of get that as a package, just start on the right foot with it, because the laser was where we were really going to ramp up our production with, and it was going to become the focus of our production efforts. So we wanted to get started on the right foot with that, and that's kind of how that came about, was just getting a higher efficient use of our material, less waste, and faster times in general, art prep, file prep, things like that.
Definitely. So, kind of prior to the full implementation of this software, and kind of bringing that plasma machine in to start cutting and begin those operations in the metal fabrication, what did you see as your biggest challenges or the biggest problem that you were facing, strictly and specifically with the metal cutting side of Southern Designs?
Yeah, so kind of going back to what I was just mentioning, that nesting our parts closer together, we knew that we could get more out of each sheet that we were cutting, and we really wanted to take advantage of, the computer software that could nest that together for us in the most efficient format. And then also by just getting it done quicker. I mean, we were manually nesting each piece on a sheet, in our software ourselves before that. So we knew that we could have it done a lot faster.
Yeah, definitely. And kind of at this time, looking at your guys' websites now, it looks like you got pretty standard pricing according to size and material. Was that always the case, or how did requests for quotes? How do you handle those in the customized home decor sector?
Yeah, at first, we would have like a kind of Excel spreadsheet put together, and we would kind of guess and combine those two together to what we thought looked pretty good. And that's kind of how we put that together in the beginning, was kind of some educated guesses combined with a spreadsheet that I'd kind of cobbled together. And, it was very apparent that wasn't going to work long term, especially as our volume increased.
Yeah, definitely. It's, good to get off the ground, but definitely needs something a little more intensive with that higher volume for sure. So on average, how long would you say that it took for you guys to make that quote then for people? I mean, was it pretty quick as far as filling out the Excel table, or, did it take some time to just verify, hey, are my prices still correct and up to date with market prices and whatever else?
Yeah, I mean, it depended on the job, but generally something that wasn't too intense might take me 15, 20 minutes to, put all my figures in and calculate and double check and make sure it was correct. So, it still took 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes. I mean, I was trying to be thorough and make sure that everything was correct and the formulas were correct. And so, it took a little bit of time for sure. And, with LandTech, I mean, you can pretty much drop the parts in, just select the material thickness, the type of material you have, put in that quantity, and it zips it right out for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, kind of at that time, how did you take that nest then to the actual machines? I mean, did you have an operator that would punch in all the coordinates at the time on the control, or were you able to just, kind of send that file, the CNC file to the machine easily through a network?
Yeah, before we had Lantec and the laser, we were running those plasmas, and they would send over the DXF file. It would convert the G code in another program they had, and then spit that into Mox 3, which was the program we were using with the plasmas. And it was, the time was spent in, us prepping all the files on the back end ourselves. The programs themselves weren't, necessarily terrible. It was just that we had to still do a lot of the work. And there was multiple steps in the process, going into this program, then shooting it over to this program, and then spitting it out to that program. And so it was kind of a multi-step process that just took time. It was labor intense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just kind of going from one platform to the next. There's obviously if you have an operator, someone leave, unfortunately, you were trained on 3 different platforms. Now you bring someone else in that may only know 1 or 2 of them. I could see that kind of being a little bit of a headache as well, keeping everything straight.
Sure.
Okay, so then kind of moving forward, once you started implementing and using the Lantec software for your nesting and all of that, quoting and everything, do you find yourself and just kind of thinking with home decor and sending the blister packs with screws and washers or anything like that for hanging purposes? Do you guys do that, and are you utilizing the filler parts to keep continually cutting anything that you may need for hanging equipment?
Yeah, so actually the hanging is kind of something we're working through now. We're trying to, figure out. So that's still new to us. So I guess I don't know if I have quite the perfect answer for you just yet.
Okay. No worries.
But a lot of our customers are requesting, hey, we need some help hanging these items up. And it was something that we probably didn't put enough thought to initially. So we're actually working through that right now. And I would be glad to come back and talk to you about that another time once I guess I have a better answer for you.
Yeah. And, I just saw kind of, with you guys being in and distributed with some Walmarts around the country, I wasn't sure if the signs that you had there had an option or had the hanging and mounting brackets or everything that they needed in those packs as well. So then
sometimes we'll send the parts over with them.
Okay, gotcha. And then kind of, speaking back with that Walmart, are you, because I did see, that picture online with obviously the prefabbed ones, are they going to be running a line or a way for customers to go on the Walmart's website and customize it and have it sent? Or is that something that you'd want them just kind of go straight to your guys' website and deal exclusively through your website?
Yeah, so it's interesting you asked that. We're actually, the Walmart deal is a twofold process. We actually have products in store with them right now that are mass produced here, of course, but signs that are stocked that are on the shelf that people can, just drop by Walmart and pick one up off the shelf. We are actually in the process of setting up with them right now personalized items that would go through their Walmart.com website. And it's a different set of designs that are for them. So there's no crossover between that and Metal Unlimited, which is our personalized brand. And so we're setting it up where they can personalize on Walmart.com, see a preview of it, and then we'll produce it here and ship it out to the customer. So that's also in the works with them right now because they do see a demand for that.
Yeah, definitely. And that just kind of gives a little more exposure for you guys having that customability on Walmart's site and your site. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then kind of, moving forward in the solutions and implementation of the Lantec Expert Cut Plus software for you guys, as you spoke earlier, it did, from an engineering standpoint, it did help, speed up any programming or design processes. Do you see or have any percentage change as far as, what type of efficiencies gained and speed on that, or a guesstimate?
Yeah, the best I could put together numbers wise, I think we've seen probably about a 10% increase in usage of our raw materials, or we're getting 10% more out of our raw materials. And that's that honestly, it's probably even a little bit low. I tend to run everything really conservative when I do things like that.
Best to be conservative.
Yeah, we were nesting them pretty tight ourselves, and I think that's part of it was we would spend a lot of time to get that nest really close. And so time-wise, we're saving probably 50% plus, probably even more than that. Nesting-wise, it doesn't take as many people or files or what have you. They can essentially drop all the files in Lentech and pop that nest out and go. So the nesting time, that is where we've really had a lot of savings. And there's no guessing games as to how to rotate it here, put it there, because we do have so many different styles and shapes of products that it's like a very hard version of Tetris. So
yeah. I was looking through all the different kind of layouts that you guys have on your website. I was just like, man, that could be a headache if you had to manually nest all those. Definitely.
Yeah.
So then kind of with the seeing those time efficiencies gains and the material gains. Speaking of that quoting process and back to that Excel sheet that you were using, have you seen like a pretty big increase in time as far as the quote goes since everything's preloaded into the software for you?
Yeah, I mean it's piece of cake now. It's almost nothing to it. You just drop it in and spit it back out in a couple minutes. It's cheese compared to what it was. We don't even think of it as a thing almost.
Yeah. Well, and I would think too. I mean, like with on your website, you've got those base prices. So it's only really if someone comes in with a very customized piece and says, hey, this is what we need. Otherwise, it seems like you got your just, straight pricing figured out. And it's this size, this material, you put in your name and date or whatever else, we cut it.
Right.
And as far as production time, I mean, have you seen, obviously, you're saving time in the nesting portion of it, but have you been able to use the data that's collected and be able to maybe push the machines to cut, a little faster according to certain materials? So in that way you can produce things at the same quality, but, get more quantity in specific time frames?
Yeah. So, one of the bigger ways, I guess, I see more efficiency or quicker production would be simply the fact that if we can get more parts on one sheet, we're not loading and unloading our sheet metal as often because we're getting more cut every time. So even though that turnaround doesn't take terribly long, it's, over time, if there's 10% savings in material, that's 10% fewer times that I have to load in a new sheet, 10%, fewer sheet files that I have to upload, download, or put in the computer, what have you. And so, I would say that we see those savings there in production. That's probably the big area. The other thing is that it really allows us to better understand our production capacity by, Lantech spitting out saying, hey, this sheet's going to take X amount of time to cut. Now that we have that data, we really know the capacity of our laser machine. And that helped us in our decision-making process as we move forward to place the order for the second laser that we have on the way here now. So I would say that those were some benefits for us to make better educated decisions for our business as a whole moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. And instead of seeing, oh, hey, this machine's on sale and buying it, but not really necessarily needing it because the capacity may not be there or, whatever else, whatever other factors that weigh into it. I think that's definitely great having that data. So, obviously you've seen increased material utilization. So with that, you're going to see a reduction in your scrap material. Have you seen a pretty large reduction in scrap or, better utilization of being able to cut remnants out and save them for later use if you don't use up a whole sheet?
Yeah, it's been, we pretty much use whole sheets every single time. It's very rare that we don't.
Yeah.
Because we're mainly manufacturing our own products, so we're not swapping out tons of different thicknesses of material. We're generally using one or two different types of material. So we're using full sheets, but I would say, if anything, scrap material handling is even easier because it's smaller little pieces here and there that we can just kind of sweep off into the bucket and it's not grabbing these larger pieces and handling them and then, having to cut them up into smaller chunks for the scrapyard or whatever it is that they want. So, I mean, it does make the handling of the scrap easier for us.
Cool. And then, kind of with all these, the gains that you've seen in efficiencies, I would assume that this allowed you guys to obviously process more sales, in which turn helps with the growth. Would you kind of a percentage over last year, or, when you brought that extra lasers in, or, some more employees or anything from 2016 to 17, did you see a really large increase as far as your, sales go for the year?
Yeah, we were able to do more work with the same amount of people. So that's kind of the best way I can put it is,
that's
we
great.
didn't have necessarily a huge increase in employees last year, but we produced and shipped out way more than we did, the previous year. And so, at least production wise, we at least pushed out 20-25% more product with basically the same number of people. So, lots of efficiency that really came into play there with not only having the laser for better quality cuts, but also the nesting software on the back end for us to produce more in the front office without bringing on more, physical help.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, you just literally just by implementing one kind of piece of software and keeping your, same employment force to be able to see that gain is pretty nice, especially the 20 to 25%. So my last question I had here, which we've already touched on, was, just with these gains and growth, you've already said that you are purchasing another laser and it's kind of on its way. Do you have, kind of looking forward in the grand scheme of things, where do you see, how many lasers do you see you guys with in, the next 3 to 5 years, or even, facilities around the country?
Well, it took us only a year to max out the current laser that we have. So our new laser that's coming in is actually 6 kilowatt, and we're hoping that'll help us get a little bit more out with it. Those machines are really expensive, as you know.
Oh yeah.
So we're trying to max out what we can out of those machines, but honestly, at the rate we're at, and with this Walmart thing picking up, we're hoping to at least maybe go another year before we have to add in another one. I'm not sure, because a third laser would require, some physical layout changes and a whole new set of equipment in our powder coating area for the volume. So there's a lot of dominoes that would fall when another laser goes forward. But honestly, asking, what do I see? Yeah, I see a third laser in the future, probably within the next 12 to 24 months at the rate we're headed. So that's kind of, we're already planning and thinking ahead for that, and starting to get our ducks in a row so that we're not caught off guard and kind of trying to play catch up. And saying from the software end of things as well, with the Lantec, with our new laser, we're just going to get another post off of our current software to run that second laser that we have on order. And that, that's the easy part. The software so far has been the easy part with it. Generally is get that turned on and it goes. It's not nearly as difficult. So that's made it really easy with Lantec.
Oh yeah. The hardest part about it, I think, is just kind of learning the ins and outs. I mean, there's a lot you can do with it, and it's a matter of, okay, sit back, what do I need, essentials, from this software, and then I, learn that like the back of my hand, and then learn the other stuff here and there.
Yeah.
Cool. That's all I've got for you today, Tance. I don't know, if you've got any questions for me, or, have anything else that you'd like to add into it, feel free to here at the end, but that wraps up everything I've got for you.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, we're definitely happy with the software. We're continuing to learn about it. There's so much that it can do that we don't even utilize. So we continue to learn and grow with it. But definitely thanks for, talking to me, and if there's anything else I can help you with or share with, I mean, let me know. And once I get some more information on the I guess the parts and components, some of that, we can talk about that down the road as well.
Cool. Yeah. No, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're very busy with the rapid growth and everything else going on for Southern Designs, which is a good thing. Better to be busy than bored is what my dad would always say. So, again, congrats on the Southern Designs Inc. 5000 lists and your Forbes 30 under 30, and everything with Walmart and your growth and everything.
Tech Link podcast helps link manufacturing professionals with industry experts, providing news and insights regarding technology, education, and the economy of manufacturing in the U.S. This podcast will answer questions manufacturing professionals may have about Industry 4.0. If you would like to suggest a topic or be a guest on our show, please email Kevin Must at k.must@lantechsms.com.